Good morning, everyone. It's 10:22 a.m. in the morning where I'm at. So today I'm going to share some of the headlines from the English Premier League. Well, it's a big day today. It's not just any other day. It's a Manchester Derby day. And what are some of the headlines I would like to share with you guys? So maybe let's start. I'm going to surf the internet as I search for information from the news outlets or sources so that I can just share it with you guys. So, okay, first, before we talk about the Derby, let's talk about Manchester City's desire or want to sign Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. First, let's talk about him. So, according to The Guardian, it says that they are so close, Man City are so close uh, on signing Mark Guehi for a $20 million pound deal from Crystal Palace, and where their manager Glasner, he says the move is in final stages. So that means Guehi will not play for Palace when they face Sunderland this afternoon on Saturday. What are the other headlines when it comes to Mark Guehi? Well, most of the headlines are telling us that, well, the deal is very close to and which means we are going to see Mark Guehi in a Manchester City jersey. For instance, BR Football reported that with Mark Guehi on the way, Man City will have signed 14 players in the last 12 months. And the breaking news from Mark, not from Mark, I was going to say from Mark, from Fabrizio Romano, it tells us that official proposal accepted by Crystal Palace right now. Understand fee will be around £20 million, and Gueye has accepted move to Manchester City, and he said that everything is confirmed. So, which means he will join Manchester City for around $27 million. And again, Fabrizio Romano is our source. Now, let's talk about the Manchester Derby. Of course, Manchester. Okay, so maybe let me. I had my notes, but doesn't look like okay. So when it comes to the Manchester City Derby, we will take a look at some of the headlines. Well, let's take a look at the report from the Sun. The big clash is today, Saturday, and Manchester United are going to host Manchester City in arguably the biggest Premier League fixture of the weekend, with history, pressure, and title implications on the line as the new interim boss Carrick takes charge against Pep's reigning juggernaut. So Carrick will be in charge because the one thing we remember is the fact that Ruben Amorim is not in charge anymore. So we will see Carrick leading or managing the current uh, Manchester. I was going to say Manchester City, Manchester United team. So his. So what are some of the things? Carrick. I should have had so my all of my notes at one place. It turns out I don't even know how to spell his name, Michael Carrick. So I don't know what the sign is talking about because it says he faces a baptism of fire. Okay, as he returns to Manchester United, dog out for the derby, the caretaker boss takes charge of a United side with a dismal recent record against their noisy neighbors. Well, I'm sure Manchester City can be called the noisy neighbors because it's a derby. These two teams are from the same club, so it's only fair that they call them the noisy neighbors. Well, Roy Keane also had something to say, I guess, about Michael Carrick, but I turns out I don't have that much information when it comes to this issue. I should have had, yeah, I should have had more information. But let's go to the Guardian. I mean, the Guardian is also talking about Mark Gueye, and well, we wanted more information. At least I wanted to share more information about the derby, the Manchester derby. Yeah, I'm surfing the internet so that you guys don't have to. I mean, you can do that if you want to, but um, so what are the major headlines? No, I want the sources. So I'm surfing the internet. Yeah, to share some information. I also want to know what's happening, what is expected. I mean, I used to be a diehard Man United fan, and this was like a long time ago. I still support the team, but the thing is, I'm afraid of Manchester City. Every time Manchester City faces a team, except for Real Madrid, I mean, this days Real Madrid, they're not they're not playing like the Real Madrid, or the results are not telling us that it's Real Madrid that's we're watching, because they keep losing matches. They keep on, getting kicked out of different tournaments. So, um, yeah, but except for Real Madrid, whenever a team faces Manchester City, I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I feel bad for that team, because it's very likely that Manchester City is going to beat a team. It's very likely that Erling Haaland is going to score a goal. So, mm, you know, uh, so it's the kickoff will be around 12:30 p.m. GMT at Old Trafford. Uh, so let's go to ESPN. What does ESPN has to say when it comes to the derby? So Michael Carrick, he's going to make his second debut as Manchester United head coach in the small matter of the Manchester Derby, as Arsenal chasing Manchester City roll into town. So, what are the key details from the ESPN's reports? Now, number one, it's the time, the venue. It's going to take place at Old Trafford, and the referee is going to be Anthony Taylor, and for VAR is going to be Craig Paulson. Well, the main talking points. So, Michael Carrick's, this is a phrase from ESPN. So, Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough were easy to predict, a team that starts in a 4-2-3-1 that morphs into a 3-5 in build up and attack. So that is the prediction, and the article says that he won't change his play irrespective of the results on the field. And that is when they talk about Ruben Amorim. It says, at the time, he also insisted in a manner early reminiscent of Ruben Amorim that he wouldn't change his play irrespective of the results on the field. I remember when Ruben Amorim was very firm on his stance uh, when it comes to sticking to his strategies, to sticking to his tactics. He was like, "No, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, even though I'm I'm not winning as many games as I should or as I'm expected to, but I will keep doing what I've been doing." So that was what he said. And the article says that, but Carrick knows exactly why he's been brought in, and a major task would be to help remove fans' memories of the stoic, slow football that marked much of Amorim's reign. So, from this, we can understand that the team wants Carrick to resume, or to help us see the old Manchester United. The signature play of this this big team, which is Manchester United. So he's been an assistant to Ole Solskjaer that season as the campaign trailed, but when he stepped up to become caretaker, he immediately appeared to steady the ship and introduce the missing defensive solidity to the team. So right now, they this article tells us that, well, that is the priority, and the fans are yearning for attacking wing play in that famous United way. So I hope you'll be able to bring that. Now, let's go to Semenyo, Antoine Semenyo. I hope I said his name correctly. So the article tells us that he's going to get another go at United because he was able to score at Old Trafford this season from the start and having scored on AFL Cup and FA Cup debut for City. Well, Antoine Semenyo will be raring to make it a hat trick on his Premier League debut for his new team. Well, I kind of feel bad for Manchester United when I read this because, like I said, in my head, Manchester City are, at least from recent records, I don't think anyone can blame me. From recent records, well, they're fearless, they're scary. And Semenyo's transfer could not have come at a better time. That's what the article tells us. And they also have Erling Haaland, by the way. We should not forget that. I mean, you give Haaland a ball inside the penalty box, then he's likely to score and break the hearts of the other team. Now, it says that Pep Guardiola wants or he needs his attack to be more aggressive, to be more clinical. And Rob Dawson, he writes, Semenyo seems to be the right man in the right place in more ways than one. So these are just some of the highlights from the article. When we go to Rodri, it says, will Rodri show United just what they're missing? So we all remember that Rodri won the Ballon d'Or before PSG's played Dembele. I was so happy, by the way, when Dembele won Ballon d'Or. So he was the Ballon d'Or winner. And, well, so what else? He returned from injury, meaning O'Reilly started as the lone defensive midfielder in City's attacking 4-1-4-1 formation. But given the magnitude of the occasion and the desperate need to not drop any more points as they chase Arsenal, Guardiola may return to his main man from the start at Old Trafford. That is what it says. So the article talks about, different players. For instance, Manuel Ugarte, he does not have the passing range or positioning sense of Rodri. And back to Manchester United, it says Kobe Mainoo, sidelined for so long by Amorim. He did not play that many games. Well, at least that's what I understand from this phrase. So, at the end, it asks us, what do the numbers say? So United, of course, they lost the first derby of the season 3-0. And the last time they failed to score in both league matches of the season when it's 1973-74. It's been a long time. So Manchester United were not able to score in 4 of the last 5 Premier League home games against City. It doesn't look good for them, and that includes the last 2, and this is according to the report from ESPN. And the last time they went more than 3 home league games goalless against City, it was between 1911 and 1914, and that would be 4 March. And of course, I mean, the man I'm afraid of the most, Erling Haaland. This article tells us that he's been involved in more league goals against United in the Premier League era than any other City players, which means he was able to score 8 goals and assist 3 goals. And that would be a total of 8 goal involvements. So for this afternoon, I'm excited to see how it's going to play out. Yeah. Now let's go to the other headline. Of course, we talked about Manchester City's new player, and then we talked about the derby. So, what are the possible outcomes? What does it look like? So, now let's talk about Liverpool, and we're going to get the information from Talksport. So their headline says Liverpool warned they risk destroying their season with major transfer decision. I wonder what it's going to talk about. So Liverpool have been Okay, so someone told Liverpool that they must participate in the transfer market in January or risk derailing their season. So that means if they want to have a better season, I mean, they're not doing that great this season. So if they want to uh, change things, if they want to get things better, maybe they should do this. So first it talks about Ernest Lott, how he was able to spend 415 million pound on transfers in the summer. And well, that happened after he won the Premier League last season. And at this point, Liverpool are 14 points off the leaders, Arsenal. And that's a huge difference considering the team's performance in the past few years and against Liverpool. So Liverpool, they have surprisingly been found lacking in plenty of areas of the pitch, with Mo Salah suffering a declining form. I did not say that. The article says that. Of course, they also have Alexander Isak. He's also struggling and suffering a serious injury. I mean, he just got here. He just signed for Liverpool, and we were so excited for him to shine in this club. But things are not going as expected. And the other thing is the right back has been something of a problem, and that is since Trent Alexander-Arnold moved to Real Madrid. So those are some of the things that were mentioned in this article with regards to Liverpool. So maybe let's move on to another talk. Yeah. So Chelsea will face Brentford in the Premier League, and another thing is Crystal Palace's manager. He's going to leave the club, and it's been confirmed. So he's not going to renew his um, his contract. So Glasner leaves Crystal Palace with 100% win record at Wembley, and of course his team was also a champion last time. Um, so another thing, for instance, let's go back to ESPN. When Ruben Amorim shouted Amad Diallo's name before Lisandro Martinez picked him out for United's derby winning goal. So over here they're just showing a picture of him. And Manchester City, they have won, or they have not lost 13 of their last games. So it's going to be a bit hard for Manchester. It's expected to be hard for Manchester United when it comes to facing their rivals, Manchester City. And just talks about the Premier League. I'm trying to get more information. Um, so let's go to Arsenal maybe. Mikel Arteta, when it comes to Victor Gyökeres, he said, I have not seen him doubt himself. He's a very demanding person. He knows the level that we need, and basically he really wants to fulfill everything that we expect of him. He's been trying, he's been very consistent. So one of the things I've been seeing on social media, particularly when it comes to Victor Gyökeres, is the feud between him and Saka. I mean, we don't know what's happening uh, from the inside because I mean we don't know these people. But when he scored just over the weekday, yeah, he scored the second goal for Arsenal when they beat Chelsea 3-2 at Stamford Bridge. And Bukayo Saka, I think he was there to congratulate him in his goal and celebrate with him, and it looked like Gyökeres was pushing him. So, but sometimes the media may exaggerate. So another thing, Oliver, yeah. So another thing, of course, I already said that. Um, so what else do we want? So live score. It reports that Liverpool want to sign Mickey van de Ven. I hope I said his name correctly, as their long-term Virgil van Dijk replacement, and that is according to some of the reports. So Now let's look at. I mean, let's go back to the Manchester Derby. So let's take a look at how the last nine Manchester Derbies played out. We will start from January 14, 2023, almost 3 years ago. Manchester United beat Man City 2-1 at Old Trafford, and then United beat 2-1. uh, they beat City 2-1 at Old Trafford, and then on June 3rd, Manchester City beat Man United 2-1, and then on October 29, 2023, Manchester City beat Man United 3-0, and then they did it again with a 3-1 win on March 3rd. And then on May 25, Manchester City beat Man United. Oh, no, Man United beat Manchester City 2-1. And then on August 10, 2024, it was a draw, 1-1 draw. And then Man City won or beat Man United 7-8 on penalties. And then we go to December 15, 2024, just a few months ago, or like we're in January, so just not a few months ago, about a year ago. So Man United beat City 2-1, and on April 2025, it was a draw. It was 0-0, and then on September 14, 2025, City won 3-0. So that's what the numbers tell us when it comes to the stats of these two teams or the stats of the derby. Now, Crystal Oliver Glasner, he says Crystal Palace will sell Jean-Philippe Mateta if the price is right, and it is what Mateta wants. So I quote, there will be a price. We will do a deal if Jean-Philippe Mateta wants, and if nobody pays the price, Jean-Philippe Mateta, he will stay. That is what it says. And, well, so, of course, the first match of the day will be the derby, Man United versus Man City. Then we have Chelsea against Brentford. Chelsea will host Brentford at Stamford Bridge. Then we have Leeds against Fulham. Liverpool will host Burnley at Anfield. We have Sunderland against Crystal Palace, Spurs against West Ham, and then Arsenal will face Nottingham Forest in an away game. And tomorrow we have Wolves against Newcastle, Aston Villa versus Everton, and Brighton against Bournemouth. And so Brighton against Bournemouth, that will take place on Monday. So what else do we have? Okay, so let's talk about Oliver Glasner. Oh, he is currently a Crystal Palace coach, a head coach, and he said, okay, so Football TNT Sports reports that Crystal Palace were 15th in the league with 11 losses in their last 17 games. Since then, they were able to secure European football. They went on an 18-game unbeaten run, which is a club record, and they ended the club's 119-year wait for a major trophy that happened under Oliver Glasner, and they claimed victories over Guardiola, Slot, and Emery. That would be Unai Emery. So when we go back to Manchester City, I know this video is all over the place. I hope you guys will bear with me. So we will go back to Manchester City. All smiles for Michael Carrick's first training session as United manager, and the picture shows, Bruno Fernandes and the other players smiling, and even Casemiro having a conversation with Carrick. Now, another news, of course, Real Madrid wants to sign Erling Haaland as early as the summer, and that is according to a certain source. I don't know how to pronounce it, so so just imagine Erling Haaland at Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid are, I will say, I'm not going to say are their worst because I'm a Madrista, but we expect a lot from Real Madrid. So if it's going to be a reality, just imagine Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, and Vini Jr. playing together for Real Madrid. Of course, Real Madrid are going to be invincible. Yeah, they're definitely going to be very hard to beat. And of course, Man City's Rangers. I hope I say this name correctly. So, when it comes to the Premier League title race, he said the following: "We are pretty confident of catching Arsenal. To be honest, we have the feeling that we have not reached our ceiling yet." So, he's still hopeful that there is a chance for Manchester City to win the Premier League. I mean, that we will see. We will have to wait and see. Um, so what else do we have here? Okay, goal assist in the last 7 matches. Who is leading? Well, it's number one. It's Florian Wirtz with 5 goal assists, and we have Ryan Shirky with 4, Javi Simmons from Tottenham with 4, and they say this is according to live score, by the way. So and then it's written 0 for Eberechi Eza. That is from their Twitter page. Now, what else do we have here? So I think, yeah. So to this afternoon, Bruno Fernandes and Cherki will face each other. So Bruno Fernandes has 8 goal assists. Cherki, that will be 7. Bruno Fernandes scored 5 goals. Cherki 2. And Bruno Fernandes was able to create 56 chances, and it's 32 for Cherki, and Bruno Fernandes played 18 matches and it's 16 for Shirky, and Bruno Fernandes played 1,538 minutes, while it's 841 for Shirky. By the way, is that how we say his name? I'm not sure. Well, the main news is the fact that Manchester City have agreed a deal in principle to sign Mark Gueye from Crystal Palace this month, and we're excited to see how it's going to change the dynamic in the club. And let's go to Arteta. So Arteta, he said a few things on his squad watching the crucial Manchester derby, given its impact before the Gunners' game against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. He said the only focus is to prepare for our very, very tough match that we have experienced at over there, and we have to win it. So Mikel Arteta believes that his team is capable of winning, and at this point, I'm rooting for Arsenal. Like, it's only going to be fair. We will see full justice is served if Arsenal are going to win the Premier League this year, because winning third place or finishing as a runner-up for 3 consecutive years, it must be painful. Yeah. So, but my question is, where do you think Manchester United are going to finish the season under Michael Carrick? I wish him all the best, by the way. I do wish him all the best. Oh, we have not talked about Hugo Ekitike in a while. At least I have not. So the thing is, he just became the second player since Kenny Dalglish to score in 5 different competitions during their club debut campaign with the club. So that report was from Liverpool. So congratulations. Yep. Okay. So another news I read is about Mo Salah. So Mo Salah is expected to return to Liverpool. And oh, by the way, after his team Egypt exit AFCON 2025-26, um, Sadio Mane said this. He said the following: "It's not easy for him, but it's still best of luck. He did everything to carry his team until now. Unfortunately, one of us had to lose. I'm happy to be in the final." Yeah, yeah. Of course, he will be happy to be in the final. How could he not? So another news is from Transfer News Live. So Martin Zubimendi, he has been quietly going about his business all season as one of the best signings of 2025. He's the glue that knits everything together at Arsenal, the perfect partner for Declan Rice. Well, yeah, and he scored. He also scored last time. Do you guys remember when? Okay, so the first goal was scored by. Who scored the first goal? I forgot. But the second goal was scored by Jokeres, and then Subimendi scored the third goal. So we have that. Uh, now, uh, Noel Gallagher. Okay, so Noel Gallagher said something. He said, United are in laughable chaos. I don't know who this man is, but maybe I need to search his name to understand who he is. But and I will repeat this: United are in laughable chaos. I don't know why he would say that. Yeah. So another match we should focus on is, of course, Nottingham Forest hosting Arsenal. So they will take on Premier League leaders Arsenal this Saturday. So I, for one, am rooting for Arsenal. Yeah, that's it. And another thing is, um, so was it on Wednesday? I think it was on Wednesday. So Declan Rice, he was being mocked by home fans. And then he took the corner kick, and then Ben White. Oh, so it was Ben White who scored the first goal. So Ben White scored, and then Declan Rice turned to face the home fans and he started laughing at them. So that happened uh, over the weekdays. Can we say that right? Can we say over the weekdays? I'm not sure. So Michael Carrick, he is, of course, he's Prime Video Sports UK wrote the toughest possible start for Michael Carrick because he's going to face Man City today, and then he's going to face Arsenal on 25th of January. It's not a it's not an easy fixture. Okay, it's not an easy fixture, but it's going to be very exciting for us football fans to watch the game because it's going to be intense. Okay, so but now let's talk about Pep Guardiola. So Pep Guardiola, when he was asked on Manchester City reportedly stepping up their interest in Mark Gouye, he said, nothing to say. But he also adds he hopes that his players are ready for Saturday's Manchester derby. So is that we can understand that he wants all the focus to be on the derby because I don't think he wants to lose for Manchester. He wants to lose to Manchester City, but uh, even if he did, it's going to be okay because it's a derby. Now, let's talk about Mohamed Salah again. So, for Mohamed Salah, Ernest Lott said he'll be happy to have Mohamed Salah back when he returns next week after the African Cup of Nations. His team so he said, first of all, he needs to play another big game for Egypt on Saturday. That will be today. And then he comes back to us, and I'm happy that he comes back to us, similar to Andy Robertson. So the thing is, he will be happy to have Mo Salah back in the Liverpool squad. And I think that's pretty good news. Let me stop here for today. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.